Hello, welcome back to Urban X Files. My name is Keith, and today's story is about the legend of Screeching Jinny of Garston. Now, I did recall this story when I told you more about what happened in St. James's Cemetery and the strange stories that fit with St. James's Cemetery, where the Anglican Cathedral is housed. Now, this story has been documented by many people over the years, and today's one is from the work of John Rippian, I think his name's pronounced, I forget, who was kind enough to let me use these stories. And if you are looking for a book to read, I would suggest buying 800 Years of Haunted Liverpool. You will not be disappointed. And in John's words, here is: opened on the 11th of June in 2006, Liverpool South Parkway rail station, and it stands on the site of what used to be Allerton Station on Walton Road. South Parkway serves as a bus interchange for passengers travelling to John Lennon Airport, as well as allowing changes between Northern Line and City Line, and also West Coast Main Line services. And on All Hallows Eve of 2006, a piece of artwork entitled Screeching Jinny was unveiled at the station, having been created jointly by students from St. Benedict's College, the Student Support Centre, and a local artist, Peter Ogunisigi. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Anyway, the laser-cut steel image shows a crone-like figure lurking in the darkness of a railway tunnel, and accompanying plaque explains his story. Now, the sign tells of a strange occurrence at Garston Dock rail station, and it once stood on the dock road, but closed in 1947 when it was superseded by Allerton Station. Reportedly, a group of children were playing near the abandoned station during the winter of 1959 when they found themselves pursued by an ugly witch flying after them and screeching at the top of her voice. Now, fleeing this evil apparition, one of the children ran to the arms of his grandmother, who lived nearby, and on hearing his tale, she recounted the story of Screeching Jinny. According to local folklore, Jinny was from a strange family who people thought were witches. They had moved to a house in Cressington, only 1 mile or so from Garston. It was said that the people who didn't like the family died in strange circumstances. Jinny had fallen in love with a local boy and put a spell on him to make him fall in love with her. But this was broken by Jinny's mother. The boy then got engaged to someone else, and Jinny was heartbroken. She followed him and his sweetheart to the station, where she ran screeching onto the tracks and was hit by a train. The name Screeching Jinny does seem to have some renaissance in the Garston area, featuring in the child folklore of several people that have been contacted by the internet message boards. However, John has been unable to find any written accounts of Jinny's railway suicide or a subsequent haunting, except for the plaque itself. Garston Dock railway station remains are now buried beneath the concrete of the A561. Garston Way, where rows of derelict houses and vacant shops have been in a wait of a miraculous regeneration. So it is perhaps all too easy to imagine Jinny's banshee-like cry echo down the abandoned streets of this once busy neighbourhood. So for those of you who have watched the investigation I conducted with my son and his girlfriend a while ago in St. James's Cemetery, and there is the link between Screeching Jinny there and the Screeching Jinny in Garston. So not too far away from where Screeching Jinny has said to have committed suicide, there is another story that is in the grounds of Sefton Park. Now, this story was reported by an actual ranger who worked for Sefton Park Council, and the story is a ranger's tale. Now, Egbert Sefton Park was opened in 1872 by Queen Victoria's son Edward, who would later become King Edward VII. And the park consists of 1 square mile of land, making it one of the largest public parks in the United Kingdom. During its Victorian heyday, Sefton was known as the Hyde Park of the North and attracted thousands of visitors annually, and being especially popular with young courting couples. There is a story, a folklore, of a young couple called Oliver and Catherine, who met regularly in secret on what is known as the Iron Bridge, close to a secluded part of the park known as the Fairy Glen. The pair were very much in love, despite the fact that Oliver's family were of a much higher social stature than Catherine's. One Valentine's evening, Oliver had sadly broken the news that he was to be forced into an arranged marriage with another girl from another wealthy family. Through floods of tears, the duo agreed to meet again in 1 year's time, on the same spot and at the same hour. The following 12 months seemed like a lifetime to Oliver, but eventually, on February the 14th, St. Valentine's Day, he arrived once more, standing alone on the Iron Bridge as he waited for his beloved Catherine. As long as he waited, and he waited some more, but there was no sign of his former sweetheart. At 15 minutes past the hour, cursing himself for being such a fool and wasting his one chance of happiness, Oliver turned to leave, when all at once he caught the sight of a figure at the other end of the bridge. It was Catherine. She had come after all, rushing to embrace his love. He couldn't speak as he ran towards Catherine, and he was horrified to see his hands go right through her body. Now, the story goes that Catherine had died of cholera at 15 minutes past 11 that very evening, and it is reported that her final words was, "I must meet my loved one upon the bridge." And today it is said that the ghostly couple can be seen meeting on Sefton Park's Iron Bridge at precisely 11:15 on the evening of Valentine's Day. Now, Richard Baker, who was the ranger, is a man who knows more than most about Liverpool's remarkable green spaces and all of its histories. One of Liverpool's most active park rangers, Richard regularly organises walks and events around the city's southern parks. Now, he's not only a keen historian, but he's also a big fan of ghost stories. And he believes that there is some truth to the story of Oliver and Catherine. And this is why he believes there's some truth. Because, having heard the tale himself, he said that he decided to visit the bridge on Valentine's evening to see if he could catch a glimpse of this romantic ghost story. So off he went, and he parked his car facing the crossing, and Richard sat and waited. Rain had begun to pour down, and visibility was not great. And as he sat waiting, very much to his surprise, he caught the sight of a gentleman in a top hat that was stood at the opposite end of the bridge. He was obviously very excited, so he got out of his car and he approached the crossing. The second he set foot on the iron structure, the ranger was overcome with a wave of unease. He said it was as though he was interfering, and he felt a profound sense that he shouldn't be there. So he returned to his car and he sat and observed the figure for a few minutes more. His apprehension did not subside and he felt uneasy, so he felt he should drive away, leaving whoever or whatever that was stood on the bridge in peace. Now, it's not often that you find level-headed men, especially ones who are historians and ones who believe in science, as they often say that the ghost stories are nothing but people with an active imagination. So I think when a man of history and a man of logical sense gives a personal paranormal experience, I think it's safe to say there is some truth. That is the end of the tale of the ghosts around Garston, and I hope you enjoyed today's story. If you did, please smack the like button. Take care and see you all in the next video. Peace.